Hey everybody, welcome to week 2 of our class. I hope that this first week has been good for you and that you're kind of feeling settled in. But if not, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the class structure this week, especially since it's kind of our first normal week. So the first week is kind of weird because it's all this introduction stuff. And now we're getting into kind of our normal routine. So try and pay attention to the schedule this week because it's kind of what's going to be repeating over the next semester. So first, to start off with our spiritual reflection, this week you're going to be reading a little bit about plagiarism and how to cite your sources correctly. There have been some questions on the questions and conversations board already about this, and even though you're writing really short papers, we do expect APA formatting from this week on because it's important to us for you to learn this here at the very beginning of maybe your academic career here in one of these early classes, that it's really important to make sure that you are letting people know when you are having an original, your own very own thoughts, and when you are using someone else's thoughts. So plagiarism and cheating can involve a lot of different types of dishonesty, and I'll let you read more about that. But in this class, I'm mostly worried about if you're working together on assignments and shouldn't, if you're turning in. One of the big things I'm worried about is if when you are looking online for maybe ideas or inspiration or something, and you come up with some of these websites that actually are trying to get you to sign up for their website so that you can get like free essays that are going to help you. But I have had students in the past copy those essays and turn them in, and that is just downright cheating. So I just want you to be careful of what is cheating and what is not. If you are not using your very own words to describe an idea, or even if you're taking an idea from somebody else and not giving them the credit for that idea, then that is cheating. So please make sure that you read through all that stuff on plagiarism and watch the video on that really carefully. Other things to worry about in this class are to make sure you're not looking on Google and specifically searching out test questions and answers. And Quizlet, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Quizlet or anything similar to Quizlet where you're making your own flashcards. That's a great thing to do, but it's also available to anybody. So if you're making flashcards with the test questions on them, then anyone can look at that, and again, that would be cheating. So please be careful with what you're using. If you have any questions about what is or is not allowed on stuff, please let me know. So while we're here on quizzes, you are allowed to look at your notes, anything you have written yourself. You are allowed to look at any of the sources that we have given you. So if you're looking at, you've read a certain website this week or a video, you can use those things on your quizzes. However, the quizzes are timed, so you're going to want to have actually done the reading first before you take the quiz, or you're going to be scrambling to try and find the answer. Where if you've done the reading and you just need to, you're like, I know that I read about that, and you can do a quick way of finding it, then that is fine. But please make sure that you're, again, not just Googling the questions and trying to find other people's answers. All right, so there are a few questions to ask for you to reflect on listed here. However, if you don't have time and want to just skip to this statement about right here, all of my work for this course will be original and independently done. Sentences copied and pasted from the internet will be placed in quotes and appropriately cited. I understand that special software, very sensitive to plagiarism detection, so this is the Turnitin program that we're using, is going to be used for this source, and if any instance of plagiarism or other violation is detected, I will get an F or an appropriately lowered grade on this course. I am really strict about whether or not you plagiarize, so I will give 0. However, I am really, I think, merciful in that I will give you the option to redo anything that has been plagiarized. So if you make an accident here at the beginning and you're not sure what's plagiarism and what's not, I am happy to try and help teach you what is okay and what's not okay. But I will give that initial 0 so that you realize that something needs to be fixed. But then you are welcome to fix it and get full credit if it is done well. Okay, so if you ever have any questions about plagiarism or cheating, please ask. There's my email address. All right, so this week, the these are the big things that are due. So again, we have our spiritual reflection on those questions up above. On Monday would be great. Our live class meeting is going to be on Tuesday. So if I scroll down a little bit on the sooner or later part, it talks a little bit more about that live class meeting. In this little graph, most of you, this top line is the representation of those of you who said you could come on Tuesday at 7. Excuse me, and again, that's Mountain Time. So that's what we're going to go with. I think that's a good time because it's early enough in the week that you can study before your Explore quiz that's due on Saturday. We'll come back to this class here in a minute. So again, that's going to be Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and I will have my office hours afterwards. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask at that point. If you have questions that you feel are too personal to ask in front of the whole class, then please email me and let me know, and we can either set up a phone call or continue a conversation in email. All right, on Thursday, we have our prepare quiz is due by 11 p.m. Again, as early in the week as you can do these, the better, I would think. There are some readings for you to do about what science is and what it isn't, also about plagiarism and APA formatting. Then on Saturday, there is the Explore quiz. So again, you'll need to have either come to the Explore meeting, our live meeting, or come to or watch the recording. And again, I'll talk more about that in a second. And then also Saturday is your Enrich essay, where this time you're going to be reading about a scientist and deciding how they demonstrate the scientific process that you've been reading about. And then you will post your essay to the discussion board. So again, you'll have a place where you submit it, and then where you also will just copy and paste it right onto the discussion board. And then next week is when you will be reading other people's essays and commenting on them, and then commenting on their comments on your paper. So the unit assignment, so units span 2 weeks, and that unit assignment is all to do with that Enrich essay. So that kind of spans 2 weeks. 1 week you write the paper, the next week you read other people's papers and comment on things. That's how the units work, but each lesson also has a prepare, explore, enrich, and then reflect section. So here at the bottom is the reflect and evaluate. So you're going to look back at our objectives for the week and see if we met those objectives, and then evaluate how you feel we did on meeting those objectives. And this is a bonus point. Okay, so this is totally extra credit. If you can do it, I would do it, because all those little points do add up. All right, so back down to our live meeting. So this is kind of the big difference this week, is that we're having our live meeting. Again, it's going to be Tuesday at 7. Please note that this is a mandatory class, which means that you either must attend the live Zoom room meeting or watch the recording. I have had students in the past who I could tell did not really watch the recording. They answered questions on the quiz that were not anything that we talked about. So please, please, please watch the recording and or come to the live meeting. If you can possibly attend, I would really highly recommend it. It is much more interactive, and I really do believe in the power of being able to interact with somebody face to face, being able to answer questions that come up at that moment, and being able to again interact with each other really does help our learning. And I have noticed that those in the past who do come to live meetings generally do better in this course, and I'm not sure why exactly that is. I'm sure there's several factors. Maybe because I get to know you better. Maybe it's because again, you're able to ask questions as they occur to you. There's probably a whole list of reasons why, but it is generally true that the people who come to the meetings do better in this course. All right, number 2, the instructions in the Explore section will say that the Explore meetings only take 30 minutes. However, I have found that for the last few semesters, it is going to be closer to an hour because of how I really like to discuss and question and review all that information that we really need to cover. So please plan on an hour, not 30 minutes. And then, however, if you can't make it for the whole hour, please come for whatever part you can come to. That's fine if you need to come and go. If you're going to be a little late, that's okay. Come anyway. All right, if you are planning on attending the meeting, please make sure that you have a microphone. You can use your phone as your microphone, that works, or you can use your computer, but it's a little bit trickier with the computer because you get all the background noise that is around you. And then also, if you have a webcam, that is definitely preferred, though you don't have to have one. All right, so below all this stuff, there is a video showing how to log into Zoom, which is our new classroom platform. If you have not used it yet, this will be helpful for you to know how to download Zoom and how to kind of play around with some of the settings and make sure that it's working for you. All right, sorry about these beginning announcements are really long because there's just so much to talk about. If you are pressed for time, go ahead and stop right here. For those of you who are not pressed for time, I just want to show you real quick, again, how this course is going to be laid out for the rest of the semester. So if I click on my content bar, actually, I'm going to change how I look to a student view. Come on. Okay, sorry. All right, it might look a little bit different. So if you click on the content bar, oh, this might take forever, but a lot of you are done by now. They're gone. Okay, so content bar, and then you click over here on this left-hand side menu is really handy for just kind of keeping track of where you are. So we're done with lesson 1, we're on to unit 1, lesson 2, and then you'll notice there's these 4 big chunks: the prepare, explore, enrich, and reflect. So prepare is all you guys doing reading and watching videos this week. And if you jump in here onto that last link for prepare, it has a bunch of articles to read, several articles to read, and a PowerPoint on plagiarism. And then at the bottom are the 2-part quizzes. So remember to do both parts. One is multiple choice and the other is writing in some things about how to cite these articles here. Now, for those of you who have made it through this long video, quick hint, some of these articles do not have a date, and there's a certain way to format that. So don't just leave it off. Look on the Purdue website or Google search is a good way to go on how you would cite something that doesn't have a date. I also highly recommend trying a citation generator. There are free ones online. I also heard from one of you, I think it was Kenneth, who talked about how Microsoft Word actually has a referencing tool in it somewhere. So if you know how to use that, then go for that. All right, that's that. So that's the prepare section. And then again, if you go back to your menu, we'll waste lots of time on the going back and forth here. If you click on it, it will give you the instructions on just kind of what the class is about. And then it links you to the next page is the Explore quiz. And again, that has to do with the class. So you have to either come or watch the recording. Then the Enrich section is pretty big as it has kind of a lot of parts. So remember, the Enrich options kind of gives you the instructions and what you can choose to write your paper on. This week, there's several different scientists you can pick from. So that everybody's Enrich essays are going to be a little bit different. At least this week, there are some weeks when they're not so different, but those are what the options are. And then the submission page where you're going to submit it to me, and I will look to see how it checks out with our plagiarism checker. And then, so that's the submission page. And then the discussion board, you just copy and paste your paper right into the discussion board, and that's where you're going to have your discussion next week. So you're going to have it pasted in there by this Saturday, and then you'll come back to that discussion board during lesson 3 to read other people's essays and then comment on the comments that are on your paper, and lots of commenting and discussions and questions. I love questions on those discussion boards. All right, and then finally in the reflect section, they're just 2 short, it's a tiny little quiz that will give you that little extra credit point, and everyone loves little bits of extra credit, right? Okay, I think I'm done, but you'll notice that lesson 2 is sectioned out this way. Lesson 3 is also sectioned out that way. Prepare, explore, enrich, reflect. Will start to become a little bit more routine, I hope, and each one of those things is usually due at the same time. Again, that first week was just kind of a little weird. But I hope that that makes sense. And then Unit 2 is also divided into two. Oh, no, this one's divided into 3 lessons because it's even weirder, but we'll get there. But the main idea is we have prepare, explore, enrich, reflect. All right, I'm officially done. And those of you who made it to the end of this are top notch. All right, see ya.